Should you draft Bucky Irving in fantasy football this year? Well, let's talk about it. Bucky Irving exploded onto the scene last year as by far the best running back from the 2024 NFL draft, and he took over the Tampa Bay offense and forced the ever-inefficient Rachaad White into essentially an early retirement. Bucky finished last year as the RB13 and is currently ranked as the RB7 or the 19th overall player. And I have some thoughts about this ranking. I think it's a good ranking. He's going at the back of the second round, so he's not too overhyped, but I do think there are some minor concerns about Bucky Irving. Because right now, the way his ADP is working is it's assuming that he's going to take another step forward. It's assuming that he's going to go from the RB13 to essentially jump into being a top 10 running back and improve from essentially what was already a very good season. I do think there is some room for Bucky Irving to improve, but I do want to point out that Bucky Irving, despite how much glaze he gets online, despite all of the LeBron-esque edits that are created for him, he had some questionable games last year. He wasn't perfect. He was not this perfect prospect like really Jahmyr Gibbs or Bijan Robinson. He had 4 games last year where he had, 5-ish points, a lot less than 10 points, which is really what you want to see out of at least an RB production at bare minimum. And these games didn't always coincide with games where Rachaad White had a lot of production or Rachaad White was getting carries. 2 of them did, but 2 of them were just games where he kind of just busted, and that's not really what you want to see out of where he's going drafted right now as an RB1. He did very much put Rachaad White in the cemetery last season. Rachaad White saw half the carries, half the yards, and only 3 touchdowns as opposed to 9 the previous year. But I do think it's important to mention that Rachaad White still did have 10 games with 10-plus carries, so he's still eating away at Bucky's workload, but he's probably not going to be providing any value of himself. Now, there is some stuff to be very, positive about Bucky for. He was a super efficient rookie. He averaged 5.4 yards per carry, which was 3rd all-time for rookies with at least 200 carries. And he also led the NFL in missed tackle percentage with 70-plus missed tackles, so he's really extending those plays and getting extra yardage, and that's really what you want to see out of your running back. But I am just worried that, right now we are predicting Bucky Irving to take this 5-spot jump, and I'm just worried that, what if he just has a similar year? What if he doesn't improve? Do you really want him more than someone like Josh Jacobs or someone like Kyron Williams? I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, he is in a soft division with some questionable defenses. Rachaad White is very much out of the picture, and he's in a good offense. But I do think it's important to mention that you are betting on an improvement from Bucky Irving with his draft capital. And I'm going to give him a B+ because of that, just because I think that there's a little bit more risk out of it because you're betting on something we haven't exactly seen before. And we've only have 1 year of experience. So who knows what Bucky's going to do this year.